been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride.
Slipping into a black skirt along with tank top, you quickly headed out of your room as you were already 20 minutes late for the school. You hurriedly locked the main entrance door and felt a cold breeze hitting your legs. It's cold today, you said while rushing to the bus stand, which was not too far away from your house. After a few minutes, the bus arrived and you hopped into it. You quickly sat on the window seat before it was occupied by a boy. You gave him a cheeky smile and he glared at you in a return. You looked through the window and smiled to yourself. Seoul is beautiful, you said to yourself while looking at the cherry blossom trees and busy road where some people were cycling and some were pedestrians walking briskly to reach their desired places. While you were enjoying the view, your notebook slipped from your hand and fell on the floor. You bent down to lift it up from the floor, but suddenly your eyes got widened, seeing that you were not following the dress code. Oh my, what will I do now? How I could forget such a big thing, you said to yourself. You knew that you had no time to go back home and change into your school uniform as you were already too late, so you decided to go to school. After 10 minutes, you reached the school as you got off the bus feeling uneasy as everyone had their eyes on you. The students who were entering inside gave you suspicious looks as if you were an alien who came from another planet. Mussing up some courage, you strolled toward the school ground while trying hard to pull sand litter, but all in vain. As you approached the main gate, you noticed school guard. He was a burly man in his late 40s, known for his non-nonsense attitude. He looked at you from top to bottom and walked towards you. Not so fast, little girl, you know the rules are here, he said. This outfit is not acceptable. I'm sorry, guard uncle. Actually, I was in a rush and completely forgot to follow the dress code. I'm sorry, I'll be careful next time, you said, smiling at him. You looked around and noticed a group of boys standing nearby. No excuse, Levian. You will have to stand on an entrance gate and check the uniform of all the students until there is none of them left, he said coldly after seeing your name from the ID card which was hung around your neck. No way, isn't it too much? Please, guard uncle, let me go this time. I have an important test in half an hour for which I have been preparing since last 2 days. Please let me go, you said pleadingly, but instead of replying he left from there before shaking his head in no. You were groaning to yourself and waited for some student to come so you could check them and go back to your class. Meanwhile, a group of girls came to you. Hey, Ryan, he said, giving you a wink. You looked at him from head to toe and rolling your eyes at him, you spoke out. Fine, you may go now, you said. Hey, don't tell me you didn't get what he meant, he said, throwing at you. Maybe she is innocent or pretending to be that much innocent, he said, and they laughed. Don't worry, her innocence is so, he said, making your forehead covered with a sweat. Suddenly, a familiar, cold, loud voice in your ear as you looked behind them only to see Professor Jeonjungkook, who was standing there with his hands crossing over his chest. Jungkook is youngest among all the teachers in the school, and almost every girl say he was renowned for his strict demeanor, but also for being one of the most handsome professors in a school. He was tall with chisel features and core-piercing dark eyes. His white suit was fitting perfectly, exuding an air of both authority and sophistication. What's going on here? He asked in his cold voice. The boys snickering ceased instantly as they straight up. Jungkook stepped closer to them, still holding his firm. His icy gaze shifted to you and you felt a shiver run down your spine. Jungkook sighed, then he shifted his gaze to the boys who were trying not to make eye contact with him. All of you are running from the school. His voice dangerously calm. They didn't waste a second and rushed from there. Jungkook looked at you, you slowly looked at him. While your eyes were full of amusement, you opened your mouth to explain yourself, but before you could utter a word, Jungkook cut you off. And why, Miss Lee Mayan, you were standing here like a silent spectator? Remember, silence is not a virtue. By allowing them to speak to you this way, you are giving permission. Do you get what I mean? He said sternly, looking into your eyes. I'm sorry, sir. Next time I will speak out. You said, looking down at your shoes. Good. I expect you to be courteous and stronger. Now come to the class, he said politely and walked forward, while you walked behind him. In the classroom, good morning, sir. Everyone greeted Jungkook by standing up from their seats. Morning, class, he said in his cold voice. His eyes wandered around the room to search for a specific person. Why she has not come to the classroom, he thought in his mind. Jungkook took a deep sigh and taking the book in his hand, he turned to the board and started writing. Today's topic is about, he was speaking out, but then the classroom door slightly opened. He turned around and looked at you. Sir, may I come in? You said in your shaky voice. The droplets of sweat rained down your neck, which was visible. He gulped, taking a deep breath. You are late, Miss Ryan, he said in his crystal clear voice. I am sorry, sir. I was coming to the classroom, but suddenly my legs slipped and I fell down. You said, looking down at the floor. Before he could show some concern, Felix, who is your friend, spoke out. Vayani, is it raining? He asked, looking at you while his eyes showed concern for you. You shook your head, smiling at him, which was seen by Jungkook as he cleared his throat dramatically. Come inside and you will have to attend the extra lecture for coming late in the classroom, he said, glaring at you. Your eyes widened while his lips showed a mischievous expression. You entered inside the classroom and sat beside Felix as he is your desk mate. Jungkook started the lecture. Jungkook looked at you while explaining the topic. Your eyes met his for a second. Why he is so good, you said to yourself while admiring his features. Vayani, are you sure you are fine? He asked in a low tone. Yeah, I am fine, you said, forcing a smile. Miss Vayan, would you please explain me what I said now? He said, and you zoned out from your thoughts. Sorry, sir, did you say something? You whispered, standing up from your seat. Sorry for what? I asked you something, Miss Vayan, he said coldly. Sorry, sir, I had zoned out, you said, looking at him with your innocent eyes. Great, first you were late for the class and now you zoned out. What's wrong with you, Vayan? I wonder that how you get good grades, he said. Everyone looked at him shocked while your eyes got watery as you looked down at your notebook. Without uttering anything else, he moved to the board and started to write down. Time skipped. The last bell ring indicating that school was over now. Reaching your house, you looked for the keys inside your bag, but a shiver ran down your spine when you heard a loud thud. You turned around and saw a truck unloading the stuff in front of the house number 203, which has been locked since you moved in here with your mother. You went inside the house and sighed in a relief as someone was shifting in that house, which had been haunting you since ages. You felt pretty excited to greet your new neighbors. Keeping the things all that specific places, you plopped on the couch, pouring a glass of water for yourself. You closed your eyes for a while to relax, and suddenly you remember your mom got father. She was a businesswoman while your dad was a farmer's son. He belonged to a poor family, but your mom fell in love with him and they both got married. Your dad came to know that your mother had someone else, which shattered him from inside. But she didn't want this to happen as she wanted to keep him on her side. But Dad eventually left her and went back to his small town. Since then, your mom got engaged and drowned As a result, her business sank and her large company went bankrupt, and then she abandoned you and ran to the Paris. She never bothered to call you since last 5 years. Though she left some money for you, but you knew you will never be able to spend your life on a small amount she left, so you started to do part-time jobs to make money. You felt your stomach rumbling with hunger. You got up and went to the kitchen, opening the fridge. You took a leftover burger and started to eat it. Once you were done eating, you washed the plate and went upstairs to your room, where you studied for about 2 hours. You looked at the clock, which was showing 7 p.m., so it was the time to reach the cafe where you work as waiter. You changed the dress and took your sling bag and locked the house. Time skip. After doing your job in a small cafe for 3 hours, you were walking down the dimly lit street. Your footsteps were echoing softly in the quiet night. The smell of freshly brewed espresso and the chatter of customers was still clung to your senses as you made your way home. As you turned the corner, your gaze fell on the house. You saw there was still a large moving truck parked in front of the house, its back door wide open. Boxes and furniture were scattered across the lawn. You slowed your pace as you were trying to figure out who was moving in. You got closer, your breath caught in your throat as the person turned towards you. It was Professor Jungkook. Your heart raced as you hesitated on the sidewalk, unsure what to do. Professor Jungkook, you said, looking at him. He glanced up, his dark, intense eyes met yours. He spoke out. Leave my in, he said, scrunching his eyebrows. I live here, Professor. I didn't know that you were moving here. You said, looking at him. Jungkook placed the box on the floor and came to you. Yeah, I just moved in here. I was not expecting you to see you at this late night. So this is your house? He said, pointing at the house. Ah, it's mine. Do you need any help? You asked, smiling a little. No, I will help myself. By the way, where are you coming from? I mean, isn't it too late? He asked. Oh, actually, I do part-time job in a cafe which is nearby, you replied. Jungkook nodded his head, looking at you. I may leave now. If you need anything, I am next door, you said, bowing down at him. Jungkook smiled and bowed down at you in a return. Don't worry, I will keep it in my mind, he said. Jungkook spoke, unloading the last box from the truck. I took in my hands and entered inside, where I put it on the floor and plopped down on the sofa. I can't believe that Jeon is my neighbor. Her house is right next to mine, so I have privilege to get in her home. I won't let go of any chance to make her laugh. For someone else, she would be like a normal student, but for me, she shined like a diamond. Everything about her is beautiful. There must be many girls in school. But I never let my feelings come out of my heart. I guess it will be more difficult than keeping my feelings into my heart. Arthur spoke. You entered the house exhausted after your part-time job. You went upstairs to take a warm shower as you wanted to relax yourself. After taking a shower, you changed into comfortable dress and headed to the kitchen to cook food for yourself as you were starving. You were cutting the vegetables when your mobile phone rang. You picked it up and glanced at the caller ID. It was an unknown number. You thought for a while and then answered the call. Is this Livayan? A lady asked politely from the other side. Yes, who is there? You asked while chopping the onions. Your pet dog, Jam. I'm sorry, but we can't protect him, she said, and your eyes got widened. No, you are lying. You said that he was recovering from sickness. Then how he could get sick all of a sudden, you said. Jam was your pet dog and you named everyone. It was gifted by your dad on your birthday and you even used to sleep with Jam, but since last few minutes your dog was not doing well. That he was suffering from any disease and they wanted him to admit in the hospital so that they could take care of your dog. You can come to the hospital, she said politely. You hung up the call and wiping your tears, you dashed out the house. Time skip, you barged in one of the hospital's room and started to cry heavily. Jam. The staff immediately barged in when they heard you crying heavily. Calm down, kid, she said, patting your shoulder. You were crying like crazy, you returned home. Entering the house, you walked to the living room and throwing yourself on the floor, you started to sob, recalling the time you spent with your dog after your mom and dad left and was like a family to you. You had leaned against the sofa, and tears again made your way out of your eyes. Suddenly, the main door swung open. Mayan, are you okay? Actually, I was on my room window and saw you leaving somewhere late at night. Is everything okay? He asked, looking at you. You looked up with swollen eyes as you wiped your tear, witnessing your professor. Oh, nothing, I am fine, you said, trying to form a smile but couldn't. Why are you crying? Did something happen? He asked, looking at your swollen eyes and fresh tears. No, I am fine. You said, trying to get up. Tell me what happened, he asked. His eyes were showing only concern for you. With watery eyes. Jungkook's eyes immediately wide opened. Jam, my dog. He was family to me, you said. Oh, that's so sad, but please don't stop crying. Whenever you miss Jam, you can come to my home and play with them. Treat him like your own dog, he said. You both looked into each other's eyes and didn't even realize. One week later, it was a quiet afternoon in the school library, the kind of peaceful silence that seemed wrapped around you like a warm blanket. You were sitting in front of the corner table, a pile of textbooks and notebooks spread out before you as your midterms were going to start. You have been trying to focus on the English essays, but it was getting hard to focus when your mind was kept returning to the particular one person. Though you both had crossed the paths countless times in the classroom, exchanged word and shared fleeting glances, but underneath the surface, you were lost in your own thoughts and didn't notice the familiar figure entered the library. It was Jungkook. His intense dark eyes made you feel as if were only two people in the world. Your cheeks flushed as you quickly averted your eyes and pretended to focus on the book. Jungkook smirked. You could feel the heat of his. You looked at him. Jungkook was not saying a word, but the look was enough to make your heart skip a beat before you could react. Jungkook smiled at you. Your eyes flew open as you looked at him with a smile. It sent a rush to your head and made your head race even more faster. Suddenly, Jungkook heard a soft thumbs up, some girls entering the room as quickly as if he had done nothing. Fire in his eyes told a different story, a story that only two of you understood.